Hello and welcome to another episode of my Wild Knitting podcast. I have many projects to talk about, so let's just jump right into the episode. Hello, welcome if you just stumbled across this little corner of the internet. I appreciate that you're here. I hope you have some entertainment or inspiration. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, I want to hug you and thank you for being here. So, thank you so much if you support me. I have been a little bit introverted when it comes to replying to some comments and engaging with this community. I don't know. My life is a anxiety ball right now. A lot of things are happening, so I'm tending to my mental health, but I really see all of your comments and I read them, I like them, and most of the time I'm trying to reply to them. I've been rather active on Patreon. I took a break from Instagram. My profile is still active, but I'm not engaging there much the past week or so because I need some space. And but my Patreon page has been such a kind of like a safe haven for me, so I really like the community that we're building there. We did our first live and it was so nice. I felt really shy and all over the place, but I really loved talking with each and every one of the wonderful allies that I have there. And we kind of said that we're going to have one live per month on top of the content that I usually share there. So if you want to join us and support me, patreon.com/wegrowwild if you want to support me and join our really nice community. Links are in the description box. All the projects, all the things I talk about in the description box. Okay, so the first finished object is a project I showed you in the previous video, but for those who haven't seen it, this is a proper podcast episode, so I'm gonna show you the finished object. And is this really nice cardigan. So one of you wonderful subscribers wrote me a comment under the last video because I said that I'm gonna use this cardigan in the garden. So she said garden plus cardigan, cardigan, and that's absolutely cute. So this is a cardigan. I really love it. Love it. The sleeves are 3/4 length. I wanted them shorter so I can put my hands in the soil and do all the things that I need to do in the garden when I go out foraging without having to roll up sleeves or, sleeves in the way. And I decided to crochet the cuffs just because I picked up crochet again. I was doing another little project and I thought, let me try doing the cuffs, and I think they look absolutely cute. So let me talk about this pattern a little bit. So this is kind of like a scrappy version of the balloon cardigan by Petite Knit, but I followed that pattern up to here. So the first green part is me following the pattern. And then the rest, I kind of did my thing. I stopped following the pattern, mostly because it's a pretty simple pattern, pretty intuitive. And once you kind of find, the right length of, the armholes and the body, you just do your thing. I guess that's what happened to me. It's knitted top down with this raglan, super simple raglan stitch, and I decided to use a lot of my little scraps and also almost full skeins that I had in my summer yarns basket. I used mostly like DKW yarns. Sometimes I held the yarn double. Sometimes I even held some yarns that were kind of like lace yarns, triple here. So I really love the fact that I managed to create a very consistent design with scraps. And all of this color, I believe I think they're really beautiful together. They really, I don't know, they really go well together. And I added some buttons that I found on a beach. I showed the process on a video. I'm gonna link it in the description box. It's a very simple, those are kind of like river and sea pebbles, and I just drill 2 holes, and here we have the buttons, and they are really light. I thought that, having, stones as buttons would make the cardigan a bit heavier, but they're really, really light. I even weigh them, and they kind of are tiny bit heavier than a normal button of this size. So I love them, and they look really beautiful on this cardigan, I believe. I'm not going to talk about each yarn because, as I said, I use a lot of scraps, but most of these yarns, I would say all of them were very special skeins for me. I still have a lot left of this beautiful green. There's a hand here. What is happening? This beautiful green is the Kobo. Let's see if I have. No, I don't have the label, but it's the Kobo yarn by Lion Brand. It was gifted to me by my friend Ali, and I still have some skeins left, and I'm planning to knit a bralette or a camisole. So maybe I'll match that. I'll do a matchy camisole, but I really, really love this, and I wore it twice, I think, in the evenings when I was walking the dogs. And let me tell you, it was just a pleasure to wear. I just love how drapey it looks on my body. So love this. I really encourage you to, if you can, to go in your stash and find some skeins and colors that really, fit well together, and create some stripy cardigans or jumpers or, projects. I think it's so rewarding, it's so creative to be able to use up some of our dear leftovers yarns. So love this, love it. And I love the length of the sleeves. I'm very, very happy with this project. I think I need to put my hair up because it's getting warm. By the way, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing, but I'm gonna talk about it in a minute because I'm actually knitting another one of these beautiful top, and this is the Coran cardigan by Rebecca Clow, and I'm gonna talk about this soon when I talk about the project that one of my whips, because it's a Coran cardigan, so stay tuned for that. Okay, yes, the last finished object that I want to show you is a super tiny crochet project. I just been enjoying making things like this so much. So last year I made a super imperfect but really useful kind of like crochet pot holder, or we use this on the handle of our wood stove because it gets really warm in the winter when we're using it, and this is made with a very rustic yarn, and I just kind of like crocheted a pretty strange circle, but I've been loving this and we've been using it a lot. And my friend, now don't look at the condition of this, but I use it a lot. My friend gifted me this. She bought it at a kind of like crafty fair some years ago, and she gifted me this one, which is a crocheted pot holder, and it's a bit dirty because I've been using it in the kitchen, so real life here. And this has 2 layers, so I decided to kind of copy the design, not the kind of color pattern, but like the fact that it's double, like it's kind of like 2 circles that are joined together. And I decided to make this one, and I think it looks nice. By all means, it doesn't look perfect at all because I am a super beginner when it comes to crocheting, and I just wanted to, flow with my hook and not think too much about perfection, and I just enjoyed the process. But yeah, I'm trying to use some scraps, as you saw on the cardigan project, and I had this kind of orange cotton yarn in my stash, and so I decided to create one circle with this double crocheted technique. Is it called double crochet? I don't know. And then I crocheted another one, and then I put them one on top of the other, and I kind of crochet them together, if that makes sense, and created this little hole on top to hang this. And the second kind of circle, it's a bit wonky, I know, there are some mistakes, but for the second one I used a tiny scrap. I think I had like 16 grams, exact 16 grams left of this yarn that I used for a Sophie scarf, a yarn that was gifted to me, and is a 50% merino and 50% linen. It's absolutely beautiful yarn, so I wanted to use it, and I've been using this so much in the kitchen. I finished it in a day, like it's a super quick project. Maybe 2 days I made 1 circle per day, but I haven't worked all day. I mean, I worked probably like 1-2 hours a day, and I finished this, and I love this. It looks so nice, it looks so handmade, not perfect at all, but so functional. And I love the fact that it's, double layered, so I don't burn myself. And I'm actually knitting, not crocheting, another pot holder. And this time I'm following a pattern because I was like, let me see if I find a knitting pattern for a pot holder, because I want to replace, some of the pot holders that I own, and I use them every day. I make food on the fire, so I need pot holders to be able to hold my pots. And so this one has a super interesting construction. It's a free pattern by Pearl Soho, and it's called Sun. I don't remember. I'll put it on the screen and I'll leave the link in the description box. But it's a pattern by Pearl Soho. It's free, and you cast on an amount of stitches, like 30 stitches, something like that. And then you start knitting short rows. So it's super simple to follow and to memorize, but I think it's a great pattern to practice short rows if you are a little bit scared and you have some sort of not good relationship with short rows. You try this pattern. It's going to boost your confidence when it comes to knitting short rows, I would say. And so you basically create this wonky shape by knitting these short rows, right? And then once you finish kind of this circle, you will do with the 3 needle bind off, you will kind of close the circle and also close the inside somehow. I haven't reached that point in the pattern. And then you will have a thick fabric because it's kind of like 2 layers, right? And I love that. It's knitted forth and back in this garter stitch. So you just knit forth and back doing these short rows. And you can use 2 colors, you can use 1 color. It's a great stash buster project pattern. So 100% recommended. I actually checked Pearl Soho website and they have other pot holders patterns. So I'm gonna knit those 2 because I want to have a collection of pot holders. I think a kitchen with a lot of handmade little accessories is my favorite and a dream kitchen. So I haven't worked on this for the past 5 days, but I think one day and I'll finish it. Maybe next time. I'm using needle size 3mm. Next time I'm gonna use probably 4mm needle size, so it will be a bit faster. And I'm using some yarns that I had in my stash. This is kind of a linen and cotton blend, and this is a cotton, 100% cotton fingering way yarn, and this is a hemp and wool blend by Borgo de Pazzi. I didn't have much, but this much. So I'm kind of blending these yarns together, and there are no hands to wave in because you will see on the pattern page only the beginning, the cast on hands. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I think I really love this construction. It's really genius. So love that. That's my first work in progress project that I want to show you. And then inside this beautiful bag, we have a project that I've been working on quite a lot. This is a sweater for Mika. So this is the Ingrid Sweater Man by Petite Knit. I'm knitting a size M for Mika. Actually, I haven't swatched, and yesterday we tried it on. Mika tried it on, and it's a little bit bigger than we expected, but I'm not gonna frog this. I told him, you can wear it on top of other things. If it's a bit baggier, it's gonna, that's the look we're looking for. I kind of like tried to convince him that this is going to fit well, but I mean, he was pleased. I just, I should have swatched. If you have, please don't be like me. Swatch if you can. Make like a gauge swatch so you don't have surprises, but yeah, it's big. And this yarn that I'm using is a cotton and linen blend by Drops Design. Is the Bumulin, 53% cotton, 47% linen, and it's 50 grams and 85 meters or 93 yards. And the color is the color 21. And I've used this yarn before. This cardigan that I'm wearing is knitted with that yarn. I've knitted a ranunculus with this yarn. I am knitting another project with this yarn. I really like this yarn. It's very affordable and it really holds together. How do you say, like the garments that you knit with this yarn have some integrity. They don't stretch much. So I'm hoping this won't stretch super much. I think maybe a little bit will stretch in the length, but not in the width. We hope. At least that's what I've experienced in the past. Yeah, I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying knitting this. It's so entertaining. It's very simple. Like the pattern is charted, so I would say that if you never knitted a charted pattern, it's a little bit challenging, but not super much. I would say it's kind of like adventurous, advanced beginner level, maybe. But it's really clear, and it's really nice because it has different sections, and every time you knit a section, you kind of like love the flow, and then you know that the next section it has something going on that is a bit different, so it keeps you very entertained. I really like this pattern, and yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. So I hope I have enough yarn, otherwise I'll order more. And yeah, it's very beautiful. I'm actually thinking to knit one for myself as well in the future, either with a kind of like summery plant-based yarn or maybe with a woolly yarn. And I'm not sure I'll buy the female kind of version of this pattern. Probably I'll just knit the smallest size and just have it, maybe it will be baggier on me, like bigger, but it's going to be cozy, so we'll see. But for now I'm gonna knit this for Mika, and I'm enjoying this so much. I'm really like prioritizing this a lot, but I've noticed that my hands get a little bit tired after a while when I knit with this yarn. Also the other projects that I'm going to show you, I kind of need some breaks here and there, but I'm enjoying this so much, and it's quite a lot of knitting because it's big, it's massive, it's a lot of stitches, at least on the body, but I'm loving it. And I want to actually knit another one for Mike in a woolly yarn, maybe like Nutiden held together with the silk mohair. We'll see. We'll see. But I want to create also a winter version, colder weather version for him. So maybe he'll get that for Christmas, another one. This, I really would like to finish it for his birthday, which is the 21st of July. Let's hope I finish it. Not sure though. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, I almost finished this one, which is my own design. I'm almost done actually with this project. I just need to probably like 2-3 more rows of ribbing on the body, and then it will be done, and I'm so pleased with this. So I've designed this. I showed this pattern before. It's my own design. I haven't followed any patterns, and is a really simple constructed t-shirt. I've knitted it top down so I could regulate the length, and I added this kind of subtle design in the front of the t-shirt. And I got really inspired by one of my favorite plants, Achillea millefolium yarrow. Yarrow is a wonderful wild medicinal plant. I don't know what my life will look like without yarrow, to be honest. It's such an important plant for me in all of its forms, and I just have this big connection with this plant. So I wanted to create a garment inspired by this plant. But I've noticed that the floral part, which should be inspired by, you know, the aesthetic of yarrow, is not exactly like yarrow, because yarrow has some like alternate leaves. The leaves alternate along the stem, and this I've knitted like the leaves not alternating, if that makes sense. But that's just like a kind of like a nerdy thing. And no one would, you know, question that that this doesn't look exactly like the plant. Who cares, I would say. But yeah, next time that I'm going to, because I want to reknit this in with another yarn, I'm just gonna, you know, copy the aesthetic of the plant even more. But I really love this, and I'm knitting it with a silk, 100% cruelty-free Boret silk by Ito. It was gifted to me, and this is the yarn Kinu, and it comes in cones, but I caked it up in a way that I can hold it triple, because this is kind of like a, I wanted a DK yarn to create this type of fabric that has more coverage. I'm realizing that when it comes to tops and t-shirts, I really gravitate and prefer like DK tops and patterns, DK yarns, because it creates more like a structured and not see-through fabric. And in the summer here it gets so warm that I don't want to wear a lot of layers. So if I can wear only this without, for example, a bra, it's exactly what I need and want. So the sleeves, I think So I'm playing yarn chicken as usual. That's my life. And I kind of knitted the sleeves to, see how much yarn I would have left. And I still have this much. I'm really finishing the body, so I could knit the sleeves like just a couple of centimeters longer, but I'm gonna finish this and see how it fits, how it looks, wear it a couple of days and see. And then if I don't like the length of the sleeves, I can unravel the cast off on the sleeves and knit a couple of centimeters more on each sleeve. So that's the plan, but I'm almost done with this. And very proud of myself. I think I'm gonna use this so much. I tried it on and it has zero ease, so really like fits like a glove on my body, and I really like that because I know that it's going to stretch just a tiny bit and it's gonna fit well, but it fits really well. So I just really love this pattern. It's going to be probably my favorite knitted top that I own. Okay, let me quickly show you this project. I actually have 3 more whips. I thought I had only 2, but I found this whip the other day, so I knitted a couple of rows and I'm very excited. But let me show you this first. So this is a very simple 2x2 ribbed top. It's kind of inspired when it comes to the construction, but not the stitch count and not the pattern. It's inspired by the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Made Design. I've made that pattern so many times, and those garments are the ones that I use the most throughout the year. But this one is knitted with it's a DK Way yarn. I'm gonna talk about it in a second. And it's a 2x2 pattern instead of a 3x3 like the Ripple Bralette. And I cast it on a different amount of stitches, and I'm going to create the like top part neckline situation is going to be different. It's not going to be exactly like the Ripple Bralette, so I wouldn't really say that I'm following that pattern. It's just inspired by, I would say. So it's super heavily modified. I'm not even following the pattern. I just started the construction. It's like similar, but it will look different eventually. And I want it longer than this, so I'm still knitting the body, and then I'll knit the front. And the front part is gonna look similar to the camisole number 2 by my favorite things knitwear. That's what I would like to create with this, and I'm using 2 different yarns held together just because. So one is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Raspberry Pink, and I'm holding it together with this beautiful Linendale by King Cole in the color Raspberry. So there are 2 different colors, but I think they create this beautiful marbled effect that gives some dimension. So love this. And this wonderful yarn was gifted to me by my friend Ali. She gives me so many things because she's so generous. And I have still enough to make a like pullover out of this yarn. So I'm thinking maybe that's going to be my next project. We'll see. But love this, really like it. It's just a mindless, super simple project that, I'm really looking forward to have the finished object so I can wear it, because these days I can tell you I'm wearing like only Ripple Bralettes and this. I don't know, the rest of the knitted tops that I've knitted so far are just sitting in my wardrobe. Let's talk about the Coran cardigan. So the cardigan I'm wearing, as I said in the beginning, is I've knitted this in May or end of April, and is a pattern by Rebecca Close, the Coran cardigan. I've used a linen and cotton blend, the Bumulin that I showed you in this kind of like cream color. And I added some buttons that I've made with epoxy. I love this finish object so much. The pattern is really nice. It's not super beginner friendly. I would say I had some like moments that I really needed to focus, but I'm knitting it again. I really love it, and I think Rebecca is a wonderful designer. She creates absolutely gorgeous designs and patterns. So I'm knitting another one in a black yarn. It's still a Bumulin yarn that I had in my stash in this blacky color. I almost never knit with black yarn. This is probably one of my first times, but it's summer and I knit on this when, you know, there's a lot of light so I can see the stitches. And so I'm doing a little modification. So I'm following the pattern to the detail, but when it comes to the button band, so you knit the top bottom up, right? And then once you've done the body and the sleeves, you pick up stitches and knit the button band, right? This time I decided to integrate the button band as I knit the body. As you can see, I already placed 2 buttons, so I can also see the effect, and I really love it. So I've cast it on each hand of the project 7 more stitches. So I cast it on 7 stitches, and then I cast it on the amount of stitches that the pattern tells me to cast on for my size, and then I finished with 7 more stitches, and I placed stitch marker to show that extra stitches, and then I am knitting a 1 by 1 ribbing on these 7 stitches, and then the holes, like these button holes. And yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do when it comes to the neckline. Maybe I'll just decrease these 7 stitches and knit an I-cord along the neckline. We will see when I'll arrive there. But I really like to be able to, I'm just a lazy knitter. I like to be able to, yeah, knit the button band as I go, so I don't have to think about doing that afterwards. And I love how this looks. I think it looks even better than this. At least sometimes I have problems when it comes to picking up stitches and knitting button bands afterwards. They kind of like curl. Maybe I pick too many stitches or too few stitches, and then I never get it super right. So by doing this, I just tackle that problem, and I like how this looks. So I'm very happy. I love the lacy, this lace, how it looks. It's a super simple 4 rows repeat, and it just consists of yarn overs and knit 2 together. So super simple to follow, but you know, it still requires some concentration. And I added this, I made this pebble stitch marker really cute. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I know that I will love the finished object. And I think, not sure though, I think I have enough yarn to knit the sleeves like 3/4 length or even full length long sleeves, but we'll see, because I really love how the short sleeve version looks like. So I think I'll maybe knit it shortly. We'll see. But I'm loving this version too, and I love that this pattern comes with different options. It gives you instruction to create a v-neck or a round neckline, short sleeves, long sleeves, cropped version, long version. I love when the designer gives you many options in one pattern instead of make you pay for two patterns that look exactly the same with tiny bit, with some differences. I really appreciate that. I know that it takes some extra work, but I really appreciate that. So I think we should, if you like the design, please go and support Rebecca, because she's a wonderful designer. So yeah, love this pattern, and I know that I love the finished object. And as I said, working with this yarn is really dry on my hands, but I'm used to that. I just recently I've been feeling like after I knit on this for like an hour or so, I have to take a break. My hands feel a bit cranky. If that is even a word, I don't know. But yeah, I need to take some breaks. Yes, we're almost done. Last project. So in my previous video, I showed you kind of all my whips, but I forgot. I found this whip buried under layers of whatever. And I found it, and I'm like, I want this. Why didn't I finish it? So I found this really beautiful, super light and super soft pullover that I'm knitting with a yarn that my sister gifted me for Christmas. So it was a kit of like five skeins, I think, of 100% baby alpaca by BC Garn, in all of these gray, different shades of grays. And this is absolutely the most soft yarn I ever knitted, at least like animal based yarn. And it's super soft, super drapey, and it's kind of like lace way yarn, maybe light fingering. So it creates a very airy fabric, especially if you use 5mm needles, as I'm using now. When I found this, it had half of a sleeve, but I didn't like the color combination that I've done before, so I frocked it and I picked up stitches again, and I'm knitting this sleeve in this way. And I tried it on. It looks like tiny, but it actually fits really nice. And I'm almost done. This kind of like light pink is not this yarn didn't come with the kit. I just added it because I was afraid. I was playing yarn chicken. I was afraid I didn't have enough yarn left, but I think I do have enough yarn, so I might rip back, like reknit this section in a gray yarn, but I actually like this color. This is a bamboo yarn held together with a silk mohair, and I really like it. I think it looks nice, but we'll see. Maybe I just want a gray jumper, and this is super light, super light. So love that. I've been knitting on that sleeve one evening or something, and I want to finish it. I want to have this garment. It's just so cozy. And I've been knitting it for a knit along that I've hosted, that is concluded, called the Hug Me Home knit along. It's a knit along that I've done with my patrons, and it was about knitting or crocheting a garment for our bodies to honor our home, which is our body. So that's something that I want to finish, absolutely. This dog is my neighbor dog, has been barking for the past 20 minutes, and I feel very sorry about that, but I can't do anything. I wanted to record this episode. Okay, so we're done. These are all the projects I've been working on. It's quite a lot of projects, but yes. I'm gonna finish this coffee and go about my day. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Please consider subscribing. It really helps. It really helps. It's free, it's free, and you help a gal like me who loves to create videos and share the things we do and we make. So just consider subscribing, and maybe if you want to support me even further, you can join our patrons. Consider doing so. And yes, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.